What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 25, and we're starting today's episode off by beginning the new season here with Watford. Yes, season 2 of Career Mode is underway, and I'm really excited for this season as well. Of course, we are in Europa League this season, so very excited for this. And of course, you can see the board want us to qualify for the Europa League come the end of this season. They also want us to reach the round of 16 of the Cup as well. And our season's budget for this new season, season 2, is £25 million. So, £25.5 million, I should say. So, £25.5 million and a decent wage budget as well. And I have to say, I'm happy with that budget. You know, I really am. We could have got more. We possibly could have got more, especially because we're in the Europa League this season. But it's a very decent budget. It's a good enough budget for us to sign a couple of really decent players that improve the first team, and maybe a couple of squad players as well. We also get ourselves into another pre-season tournament this year too. I think it's the same one as last year's. But still, I'm really excited for this season. And £25.5 million as a budget. I know last year, like every single time the new season came around, I'll be like, yeah, the budget's not great, but it's not too bad. But this season, I'm actually quite happy with the budget we have. And there you go. Still following out, you saw that two players have arrived on pre-contracts for this season. Of course, they are Joel Matip, who came from Schalke, the centre-back, and also Charlie Austin from QPR, the English striker. So looking forward to those two players coming into our team. And we also had a bid for our captain, Troy Deeney. I think it was £3.6 million, which was just ridiculous. But what was even more ridiculous was the Watford board coming back to us and saying they also wanted us to reach the Europa League final this year, which I think is a little bit too much for us, I might say. It's our first season in Europe, and I think reaching the final, I mean, don't get me wrong, it is possible. It is possible you go to the final in the Europa League this season, but it's going to be very tough, and I'm not sure we'll be able to do it. But either way, we probably failed at it, but I think the other two are totally achievable, of qualifying for the Europa League for next season, and also reaching around the 16 of the Cup as well. Still, this is the squad we got set up for this year's season with Watford, and also the league table as well. Forgot to show you this, but Cardiff, QPR and Hull City were the three teams promoted from the Championship last season. And as for players that will be coming in, well, to be honest, you saw the squad just a minute ago. I like the Watford team we have right now. My main aim for this summer transfer window is keeping the core of the players here. You know, there will be some bids for Jack Butland and Troy Deeney and Bertrand Traore, I'm sure. Quite a few players in the first team will get bids as well. But I just want to make sure we keep the core squad here. I want to make sure we keep most of the first 11 here from last season and basically just add one or two players in. I don't want to undergo a massive transition with Watford. You know, last season we changed the squad completely. There were so many players that left the club and so many players that joined the club. But for this season with Watford, I don't want to do that again. I don't think we have to do that again. I don't think we have to sell like 10 or 15 players like we did last season and replace them all. I think this season what we have to do is make sure we keep the good players here that we want to keep here and just make sure we add one or two good players as well. So Redmond, I think, coming in would be a really good signing for us. He may not go into the first team straight away. It will also depend on what formation we play this year. Might change the formation this year to a 4-2-3-1. But Redmond coming in will be a really good signing for us. I think he'd be very good indeed, because even if he's not a first team player, he's got good potential for the future. He can play off the bench. I think Redmond will be a good signing for us, and we'll have to wait and see what Norwich say. Still some more training as well. This season I'm not sure who's going to get most of the training. Ryan Taylor will probably get quite a lot of it, our scout future star, just to maximise his overall. And also more bids for Troy Deeney. I mean, come on, EA, you were supposed to add realistic transfers this year. £3.4 million for last year's joint highest scorer in the league. I mean, that's just ridiculous, isn't it? But still, following that, another bid came in here for Nathan Ake, the, well, now player for Chelsea, now player for Watford permanently for some reason in the game. Bid came in for Almeria, and Ake had been saying last season it was unsettled, and I thought this was really funny. I counter-offered the transfer offer from Almeria, which they're probably going to match, and then Nathan Ake comes to us on the same day and says he's happy to stay here after saying for so long he was homesick and he wanted to leave. But still, more bids for Troy Deeney. Once again, we just said we were going to reject all of them, and same for Jack Butland and Bertrand Traore as well. The fact of the matter is, these bids for Butland and Traore would give us a profit on the players from what we signed them for, but there's no need to sell them. Bertrand Traore got the most assists in the league last year, Butland got the most clean sheets, and of course with Deeney being the joint top goal scorer, you know, those are the three players right there we have to keep hold of if we're going to repeat last season's successful season for this year. Still, a bid for Nathan Redmond. You can see there they rejected the first bid. We put in a bid of £2 million plus Jurado, who we won't be using much this year, and we'll wait and see what they say. And we also had our first pre-season friendly to play with Watford as well, and just like last season, guys, I won't be playing the pre-season friendlies. I know this season they have added the tournaments, which is great, and that's really cool and everything, but to be honest, I'd still rather speed through pre-season. Even though there is prize money at stake this year, I would still rather just get through it as quickly as possible. And also as well, this is the first first career mode of mine you've watched, then basically the first episode of every single new season doesn't feature any games. It's just all about transfer business, and there you go. Still following the first preseason friendly, West Ham came in for us regarding Miguel Angel Britos. Now, of course, he was supposed to go to West Brom last year when he failed his medical, if you will, after getting injured. But Britos could be going on his way to Upton Park as well. They asked for Britos. We asked for a counter offer of £1.6 million, and we shall wait and see what West Ham say. And also following that, Almeria said they were going to match the £1.8 million deal for Nathan Ake, which is totally fine with me, as I don't think he'll get much game time this year now that Leon is back from his loan spell. And also Redmond Norwich even accepted a £2 million plus Hirado bid for Nathan Redmond, so that would be a really good deal for me. You know, he's 75 overall, only 22 years old. Redmond coming in for £2 million plus a player who we won't be using much this year and is already going down in stats as well. I think that would be a really good signing for us. Even if he doesn't go into the first team as a bench player or even a reserve player, he'd be really, really good for us. I think that'd be a great signing. Also put a bid for Matt Target with Nathan Ake looking like he's on his way to Spain. Wouldn't mind getting hold of the Southampton left back who we had last season on loan. He did pretty well. He grew a couple of ratings as well. Wouldn't mind getting him in. And also Sean Murray is going to join Birmingham on a one-year loan. I like this guy. When he came back from loan last season, he played in a few games for me and did pretty well. Wouldn't mind getting hold of him. But as Murray goes to Birmingham on loan, we had another loan offer for Tommy Hoban. Last season, Bayern Munich wanted him on loan. Now Real Madrid want our young Irish centre-back on loan. So we say no to that. I know that they'd still get games, would grow as much, even if they wouldn't get any game time. I do know that. But I just think it's ridiculous. But still, Hoban's going to stay here until he gets a proper realistic transfer offer, if you will, or loan offer. And also as well, you see that West Ham are going to match the bid for Britos, which is great. That'll get a centre-back out of the club who we're not using. And also Matt Target looks like he's actually on his way to Bristol City. They decided to put a bid for the left-back, and we offered £1.3 million. Bristol City offered £1.4 million. So we got to match what Bristol City put in. But whenever that happens, for me, like, I never, ever get the player. Like, he always goes to the other team that have put a bid in. So I think Target will probably go to Bristol City, but you never know. We'll have to wait and see what happens. And we also had our second preseason friendly as well. We had a game against Genoa here. We won the first game, and as you'll see, we also win this game against the Italian side as well. So despite the fact we're simulating these games, we're still getting the jobs done, and the more prize money we can get through these simulated games, the better. So another win there in the preseason tournament. And also you can see that Ake has gone to Almeria for £1.8 million. Totally fine with me. And Nathan Redmond becomes the first signing of the new season. So Nathan Redmond is going to come in for £2 million plus Hirado. Very, very happy with that deal. Once again, we weren't going to use Hirado much this season. Redmond is only 22 years old. He's got a very decent future ahead of him. He's English, of course, meeting the criteria that I like. And yeah, I think that's a pretty good signing for us. I really do. Can play on both wings, 4-star skills. And he's a good option for the first signing of the season. And I'm sure more will come. Still following out some more training. And we also see as well that Britos did get sold to West Ham for £1.6 million. So it doesn't fail the medical this time. And also Bristol City had their offer of £1.4 million accepted for Matt Target. So I said a minute ago, you know, whenever that happens, I can never get hold of the player, regardless of whether my club is better than the other one they're going in for the player. Still following out, we put in a bid for John Joe Shelvey of Swansea, the former Liverpool and Charlton midfielder. He would be a great option for us. 79 overall, only 24 years old. He's a very decent player. I think he's criminally underrated in real life. I really do. Massive fan of his, and I think Shelvey will be a great option. One of the reasons I'd love to get Shelvey in is because he is the perfect player that can play in a versatile range of central midfield positions. Now, what I mean by that is he can play central attacking midfield, central defensive midfield, and just simple central midfield. Shelvey has all three of those positions listed in his player profile, and he's just the perfect option for Mr. Versatile in the middle of the pitch. You know, I love those players that can play all across that sort of spine. I think Shelvey will be a really, really good option for us from Swansea. Also, Will Hughes of Derby County as well, but we'll have to wait and see what they say. Will Hughes is a player who last season at West Brom never grew, despite being one of our first signings and getting quite a lot of game time in the first couple of seasons, but hopefully this season it'll be a bit different. But still, following that, you can see that Matt Target did indeed join Bristol City. We had our £1.4 million offer accepted, as you can see on the same day he did decide to go to Bristol City, so that's always frustrating when that happens. You know, it really is. I mean, it's one of those things which I never really know how to sort of overcome it, really. Whenever I see a player is getting a bid from another team, I can never seem to get him, no matter how quick I am or no matter how much I'm offering. Still following that, you can see Swansea rejected our bid for John Joe Shelvey. Not a real surprise. We want to keep hold of the guy. We'll put in a new bid though, and we'll wait and see what they say. £10 million is a lot, but it's just over his valuation, and he's a player for the future as well. At 24, he's still got room to grow. He'd be a good option. And the last thing you'll see as well is Derby County did reject a bid for Will Hughes. We put in a new deal, and we shall wait and see what they say. But that does end the episode, guys. So thank you very much for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed. enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed today's episode of Career Mode, then please do leave a like, so it's much appreciated. It really does help my channel out, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.